Welcome to this video where, again, we look at some of the implications of the resurrection. A few months ago I was on the football touchline of a boys' football game, and it was on an old rugby pitch where chippy rugby team play, and for whatever reason there were two sets of lines that the boys were playing within. There was one line that was white and another purple line that had been drawn out, marking out a slightly different pitch, and the boys were playing to the purple line. And at a certain point the ball came towards me, and I put my foot on the ball to stop it. I was standing within the line, and the referee told me off. He pointed at me and he told me, not to interfere with play because the ball wasn't out, and I wasn't quite sure what to do. I looked down, and the ball had crossed the first line, which the referee couldn't see, which was the purple line, and I'd stopped it before it reached the white line. And I wasn't quite sure what to feel. I felt a bit embarrassed. I felt a bit. All the other parents were around next to me, and I felt like everybody thinks that I've done something wrong here, and I know that I haven't. And then, as half-time came and went, just before the match restarted, the ref came over to me and he said, "Listen, I'm sorry about that earlier. You were completely right." And I was vindicated in that moment. I was proved to be right, proved not to have done anything wrong. And the truth that I want to just explain to us today about the resurrection is that it functions. It is Jesus's vindication. It shows that Jesus was right, and it shows that he can be trusted. And there's a verse in 1 Timothy 3:16 where Paul writes to Timothy, "He appeared in a body," speaking of the incarnation, "was vindicated by the Spirit, was seen by angels, was preached among the nations, was believed on in all the world, and was taken up into glory." And it speaks here about the resurrection, vindicated by the Spirit, speaking about how, being raised by the Spirit, Jesus was shown in that act of the Spirit raising him to life again in the resurrection, was vindicated. In other words, he was shown, he was justified, he was shown to be in the right. And if God had left Jesus in the tomb, we would have been left with a number of questions. Was Jesus right? Was Jesus completely perfect? Was he an adequate sacrifice? Was he obedient enough? The resurrection shows that Jesus completely fulfilled all of the requirements of God, dealt with everything in order that we could be brought back to God. And Jesus was vindicated. He was proved to be right. Everything that he said about in 3 days this temple will be raised again, referring of course to his body. Everything that he said about the death he was going to die and the fact he was going to be raised to life again was shown to be completely true. And so the resurrection not only is the vindication of Jesus, showing him to be justified and to be completely righteous in everything that he said he was, but also it means that we can trust everything that he said, every word that came out of Jesus' mouth, everything that we've got recorded in the Gospels, in the book that comes to us as the Bible, can be completely trusted. And as we read this book day by day, as we read the things that Jesus says, as we look at how the Gospel writers have revealed Jesus to us as inspired by the Spirit, actually all of that can be trusted. Everything can be completely trusted because of the resurrection. And I suppose that's the truth I just want to leave us with today. The resurrection not only vindicates Jesus, but it shows us that he can be trusted. To every word of this wonderful book that's like no other, every word of it can be trusted. The promises that are in here, what it reveals about Jesus, what it tells us about ourselves, what God speaks to us through it. As God speaks to us through it, all of that can be completely trusted. And what a wonderful truth. God bless you. See you soon.